Hi guys, Lene here. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit, or at least in this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit about tinctures. I got a request for tincture information. So first I'll show you a few. This is my energy tincture. I wish I had known someone was going to want to know more about tinctures because I would have videoed it. I just made a few. This one is a spirit work tincture. And this one I use all the time. Maybe I'll make a new one of these soon. This is the Divination Tincture. So what's a tincture? It is a topical or ingestible magical concoction, potion. And it does for you what you enchant or use herbs for it to do. So this is how I make my tinctures. This is not how you have to do it. There are thousands of recipes. I didn't think to grab my recipe book, but I can give you a gist of what's in them. The way that I do it is I make sure that I use at least 80 proof alcohol. They are made with alcohol. A lot of people say 40 proof is enough, and it probably is enough. But I feel the higher proof, the more you're going to leach out. So I use a high content alcohol. And then instead of using a mason jar and just throwing my herbs in there and my alcohol in there and letting it sit in a dark spot, which we're going to talk about, I actually use a bag for my herbs. I am not a strainer. I don't like doing it. I think it's a waste of my time, honestly, when I know that there are ingenious methods that I can use. So this is a muslin bag. You making a small batch such as this bag would be perfect size. So what you do is put your herbs in the little bag, pull your drawstring, tie it tight, and drop it into your mason jar. Fill it however full you have decided you want it to be with alcohol. Close the lid. Put it in a very dark cupboard. My cupboard where my herbs are, where one side is open, is not dark enough. You need it somewhere where it's going to get no light. And you're looking at 6 weeks. Sometimes people go a little longer, but you want to go for at least 6 weeks. And you just let it sit. Now, you don't forget it's there. You shake it every single day. You've got to shake it. Sometimes 2 or 3 times a day is even good. Some people say a tincture can be made in 7 days. Some people say a tincture can be made in 3 weeks. Some people say 2 weeks. I personally let my tincture sit for 6 weeks. It's morning. I'm still having coffee. So your bags are a really good idea. Now, if you don't have the skill to make a muslin bag or the desire to make a muslin bag, you can buy tea bags. This is a large size tea bag. This is what I use for my larger batches. Or you can even buy regular size tea bags that are disposable. You put your herbs in them, you tie them good and tight, you sit them in your jar, you pour your alcohol over them, you make sure to shake them once a day, and you put them in a nice, cool, dark place. For the length of time you've desired, you have designated they should be sitting. I have a lot of videos that have been requested, so I'm trying to get through them. So I started early today. So forgive the coffee, but it's only my second cup and I need it. So Divination Tincture I use religiously. Every time I do a reading, anytime that I'm working with a client in spiritual counseling, I use my Divination Tincture. I do that because it helps me focus, it gives me clarity, and it brings to me the answers my clients need to hear. Whether it be through cards or runes or a pentacle or, a pendulum or just spiritual counseling. It brings to me what they need to hear. I also connect with my deity, my ancestors, and all that when I'm doing these workings, whether it's spiritual counseling, healing, divination of what sort, any of that. So how did I make this? I used the method that I stated to you. This is a nice clear one. I don't know if you can see how clear that one is. I can get my arm out of the way maybe. It's a very clear tincture. In this one I used dandelion, of course, dandelion root, dandelion heads. I used colt's foot. I used mugwort. And I believe I used pennyroyal to give it a little bit of a taste texture. I'm trying to think if that's all, but I believe it is. Yeah, so, and that's my divination tincture. I put it in the bag. I stuck it in a mason jar. I put the alcohol in. I put it in a dark cupboard. I shook it about 2 to 3 times a day for, just a minute. It doesn't, you don't have to be so precise that you lose interest in doing it. But there are steps you have to take. You have to use a good high proof of alcohol. You have to keep it in a dark space. You have to keep it for a length of time. You can designate that or read up on it and go by what you learn that way. And you have to shake it daily. Why do you shake it daily? Well, you need to agitate it in there, mix that alcohol through those herbs, and actually leach out what it is you're going to need, which is the herbs. So agitating it at least once a day is just something you have to do when you're making tinctures. So that's my divination tincture. Spirit work tincture. Quite a few of the same ingredients, honestly. This is a little darker, you'll notice. So it has a little bit darker content. There is coffee in here as a tribute to ancestors. I do a lot of ancestor work. So my spirit work tends to involve ancestry work. So there's coffee in it. There is dandelion roots. There is colt's foot. There's mugwort. There's juniper berry. There is... oh, come on, brain, help me here. Wormwood. I can't think of everything that's in it offhand, and I didn't think to grab that recipe book, and I'm so sorry. I really should have. If you're interested in any certain recipe for any certain type of tincture, I have energy-focused tinctures. I have spirit work, divination. I have weight loss. I have anxiety. They can be made for health reasons. They don't have to be magical in their seat. They don't have to sit in a magical spot. I have some for weight loss. I have some for anxiety because people in my family have anxiety issues. I have some for focus. Some people have a hard time focusing on things. So they can be made for any reason. It doesn't have to have a magical seat, but they're a great magical tool that I utilize often. Tinctures. I'm trying to make sure I tell you everything I can possibly think of because the requested video wasn't specific. It just said tinctures. So I hope I've explained it well enough. You don't have to use a bag. A lot of people just dump the herbs in the jar, put the alcohol in the jar, close it up and agitate it that way each day. And then in the end, when they're ready, their time frame is up. But for me, it would be 6 weeks. When that 6-week period is up, then they strain them out in a wire strainer and have their tincture. So you can do it that way. You don't have to buy bags or make bags. Or I personally just don't like the extra step. I did that the first time, and I found that I made a mess. It's not like when the herbs are sitting in that wire strainer that the thing is coming right from the middle and going into your jar. It's not. It's it's going all over and dripping everywhere. And I just made this entire mess. And I thought, how can I make these, keep them as important and not make such a mess? And that's when I came up with the idea for the bags. So it's just the way I do it. Please don't feel like anything I'm telling you has to be done the way I do it. I don't say that enough in my videos. I've been rewatching some videos trying to see if there's things I need to explain further in them. And I realize I don't say enough in my videos that this is my technique or my way of doing it. And it's not required that you do it that way. You need to tweak it. You need to twist it. You need to make it fit you. And I don't say that enough. So forgive me for that. It's a nasty habit, and I should be much more aware. And I also don't thank you guys enough for following me, for putting in requests, for joining me, for leaving me comments. I don't thank you enough for that. I appreciate you so much. And you mean the world to me. When I say you're divine, sacred beings of light and love, I mean it. And I mean that you are very, very loved, each and every one of you. It doesn't matter if we've even talked before. This may be your first time looking at one of my videos. I love you. You are part of me. We are a joined and concentrated group of beings, and we are all each other, and we are all ourselves. It's my belief, and my belief is without loving you, I can't love myself. So you're all loved very deeply. I hope this is sufficient. If it's not, please ask questions. I'm extremely happy to answer them. I will dig that recipe book out so that I can share some of these recipes if you're interested in them. Please put that in the comments. I don't mind at all. And have a blessed day. I'll see you in a few minutes in the same clothes. I'm going to do some more videos today. Love you guys. Bye.